Greetings from the Trade and Development Bank Group. As we come together to celebrate the African Development Bank's Diamond Jubilee, I'm delighted to take this opportunity to reflect back on the AfDB's impact over the past 6 decades, as well as on its journey with TDB Group. At the outset, when one thinks back 60 years, what comes to mind is the heydays of the 1960s, when many African countries were becoming independent, and the young days of a post-World War II order. The United Nations, the World Bank, and the IMF had been established, and the world had witnessed the massive reconstruction of Europe and, to some extent, Japan. The power and promise of development finance initiatives and MDBs were being demonstrated and in full display. It was in this context that several African countries came together to establish the African Development Bank, which later on evolved into the AfDB Group, with the formation of special purpose funds, notably the African Development Fund. From those early days, African leaders were wise and knew that political independence was far from adequate to uplift Africans from subjugation, poverty, and underdevelopment. A strong and capable institution was necessary to help marshal resources towards developing infrastructure as well as agriculture and industry. It is evident today that the mission and purpose of the African Development Bank remains as relevant today as it was 6 decades ago. Our socioeconomic transformation is still very much work in progress. On this occasion of this 60th anniversary, I would like to salute Dr. Adesina for taking AfDB to new heights over the years of his leadership, as well as to acknowledge the significant contribution made by preceding AfDB presidents. Amongst those, I would like to pay homage to Sudan's Mamoun Biheri, the inaugural AfDB president, and Dr. Donald Karbaruka, who, we are honored, serves on TDB's eminent and distinguished advisory panel. Let me also share some highlights of AfDB's historic role as a key strategic partner of TDB. Long before the coining of the now famous mantra, "From billions to trillions," the AfDB was doing it in practice. The AfDB took strategic equity stakes in TDB, as it did in several other regional development finance institutions across the continent, to generate leverage and impact. It also led the creation of other regional DFIs, our Continental Association of African DFIs, and also other new institutions such as the ALSF. As strong as the African Development Bank had been, it was very clear and foresighted to know that the mission of socioeconomic transformation required many role players. It required scale, required synergy and multiplier effects. It was with this understanding and conviction that the African Development Bank played a catalytic role in the growth and transformation of TDB Group. Apart from the pioneering strategic equity stake in TDB decades back, it took subsequent pioneering stakes in our Class B shares in 2014, and then years later, our Class C Green Plus shares in 2020. Today, TDB Group has some 20 institutional investors across the Class B and Class C shares and hundreds of millions of dollars in new equity financing that has been successful on the back of that experience. The catalytic effect of the AfDB's strategic and pioneering investments has been very evident in the evolution of TDB Group, which is a $10 billion institution today. We have grown through many other facilities, short and long term, from the African Development Bank to support important segments such as SMEs and trade. As co-financiers together with AfDB, we joined forces alongside other DFIs to co-finance landmark projects such as the 300-megawatt Turkana wind power project in Kenya. It was a project that only took off because of leadership from the African Development Bank, with TDB and others following as strong partners. The AfDB had been a wonderful strategic partner of TDB over many years. It was our very first strategic institutional investor, And over the years, it has paved the way for many to come in and also become strong partners of TDB, as well as part of our institutional investor base. It's with all of this in mind and memory that I am very pleased to extend TDB's heartfelt best wishes to the AfDB family for its 60th anniversary. We look forward to many more years of partner and impact. All the best.